Hey there guys, it's Zach here from WinBeta and welcome to episode 31 of the WinBeta podcast for the week of September 4th, 2015. With me as co-host Sean Michael. God damn it, Sean. And this week we'll be talking about a number of different things. Let's get the stories up so I can actually tell you them. We'll be talking about Threshold 2 coming in November, slightly delayed from the original planned date of October, as well as Windows 10 market share, Windows 10 insiders. The number of insiders are now at 7 million, so that's pretty great. And the really amazing, super detailed and many new things revealed at the Microsoft IFA keynote.
Let me ask you real quick, Zach, did I miss much?
No.
Oh, man.
Nothing happened at that event. With the mobile stuff, we've also got a closer look at Continuum. I had some screenshots and other good stuff about Continuum earlier this week. Also, information about the upcoming Munchkin Continuum dock, which features a number of ports, as to be expected. And, of course, this week's poll results, as per usual, because you know us, we love a good poll. And then also just some other sort of stories. We've got gaming stories. 17% of Steam users are running Windows 10. We'll be talking a little bit more about that. And a Halo 5 opening cinematic trailer. Oh my goodness me. This was a good week. And then I think we should round it off with the upcoming Intel Skylake family of chips that were announced this week.
Yes. Oh, I think they're called crisps here in England.
The Skylake crisps. Right, so as you may have noticed this week, we are both in different locations. I may sound a little bit echoey because I'm in a room that's empty. There's nothing in here. And Sean is somewhere else. Where are you, Sean?
I'm at my girlfriend's family's house in her brother's room. One of her four brothers, but one of her brothers.
So we are in different areas and we were barely ready for the podcast this week, but we're here delivering it to you live as per usual. So I guess we should just start with the stories this week. So this week I wrote a post talking about the upcoming Threshold 2 update for Windows 10. For those who don't know, Threshold 2 is a code name, and it's supposed to be the first non-patch style update for Windows 10. So it won't just be fixing bugs, or it won't just be a security patch, but it will include a couple of new additions to the operating system. I think that a universal messaging app is coming. Hopefully that's the case. What else is coming? Improvements to Edge extensions, they should all be coming as well. And a number of small things. It's not a big update. The big update's coming next year in June, I think. But that's codename Redstone. But Threshold 2 is including a couple of things, but it was originally, or the plan originally was for it to launch sometime in October, but I learned recently that date slipped slightly, as it will now be releasing in early November, which isn't a dramatic change, and to be fair, it's probably good news. It means Microsoft can now continue working for a little bit longer on the upcoming update for an all-round better update for consumers. I believe it will be the first build to be delivered to consumers that is an actual build upgrade. So when it's delivered via Windows Update, you will get the upgrade now screen and the circle that goes up and stuff. So that would be pretty interesting for Microsoft. That would be a first, pushing that out globally. But yeah, Windows insiders have been trying out these Threshold 2 builds for a couple of weeks now. Right now, not many changes. Only the title bar has been changed and something else. I can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, more changes are coming in future builds, hopefully. And
well, in the preview for the insiders right now that are testing it out,
yeah,
they had an update to the universal messaging app, but it didn't do anything that we noticed.
Well, I think it didn't do anything that we noticed because it's doing things for other platforms that we don't currently have access to. So,
and then Gabe had like a hint, where it was like someone was like, "Oh, is it going to be Skype? Oh, it's some messaging?" Yeah. And then he was like, "Oh, we might have more to talk about."
Exactly. That's exactly what he was like. So that's
how his tone is on Twitter, just so you know. That's exactly how Gabe sounds on Twitter.
He's like, ooh, maybe he's really jolly.
And he's just like, maybe. I don't know. Can't tell you.
But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. So it's kind of early November to be expected. I guess it will RTM in October and insiders will get it first. So insiders probably get it in October sometime, then to the public early November.
Yep. Well, we'll get to those insiders a bit more in a sec because they're multiplying. I don't know if they're recruiting people or maybe it's been around long enough that they've started having children naturally. But there's more insiders than there used to be. But In any event, let's see here. Our next story, we have Windows 10 has gained quite a bit of market share. Remember, it only came out July 29th. It's not actually here in this very house has not rolled out to all the devices. It's been over a month. Still hasn't rolled out.
So what PC are you using? Is it Windows 8.1?
No, this is Windows 10, but there's one PC downstairs that's not.
Right. You should do it. In any event, update it.
Well, he's going to. Yeah. No, Lee's dad's gonna. But in any event, so we heard numbers, as in Windows 10 is running over 75 million devices, which actually was a week or so ago now. So who knows what that number's at. But now we're starting to get market share numbers. And the first one has come in. Windows 10 has bumped all the way up to 5.21%, which I agree with the author of this article is not bad. 5.7 or 5.21% in just over a month, pretty good, I think. It's nothing, to be blunt, compared to, let's see, Windows 7, 57.67% market share. And then even, let's see here, Windows XP is actually at 12.14. So it hasn't actually gone past some of the lower tier Windows market share percentages. But I think 5.21 is pretty good for a month. It's 1 in 20 computers is running Windows 10.
Unprecedented. It is crazy. I think it's one of the fastest growing operating systems right now. So, today.
Think in a month, it went from, well, it wasn't quite zero because the insiders, but it's now 1 in 20 PCs is running Windows 10.
Yeah, no, it has been building up since October last year, but technically we shouldn't count that because it wasn't ready and stuff. But
I guess whatever.
It's exciting times. People are taking to Windows 10 well, unlike Windows 8. Windows 8 was was nowhere near 75 million installs a month in. The launch weekend was 4 million. The launch weekend for Windows 10 was 14. So.
Right. Yeah, and it took Windows 8 6 months to hit 100 million.
Yes.
And yeah, so there's that. Actually, Windows 8, amazingly, for all its criticism, is actually still at, let's see here, it declined from 13.09% to 11.39%, which is to be expected because 2% of the entire PC market share dropped Windows 8.1 like a lead balloon and went over to Windows 10.
Pretty crazy.
That's how I read it down.
That is crazy.
But it's even that operating system still over on 1 in 10 PCs, which is unbelievable that something can be considered a failure running on 1 in 10 devices. But I would agree that compared to Windows 10 and Windows 7, Windows 8.1 not exactly perfect.
No, Windows 8 was a big anomaly, bigger than Vista, I think, because Vista failed because it didn't work properly on older devices, but its UI and experience was the same as previous versions of Windows XP, Windows 2000. It was the same. Windows 8 is a completely different kind of beast. It was a complete new UI. When you get those images of people comparing the desktops through the years, you get to Windows 8 and it's just a blue screen with tiles on it. What happened there? How did
this tablet go up to my monitor?
Yeah, how did this get onto Windows as a desktop operating? It's hilarious. But finally, that's in the past. We're back on the desktop. Good news. Things are looking up. Users are joining it, although some developers are still not too sure. Like HipChat, did you see what HipChat said?
I did. What is up with that?
They said, I think it was Joe. He messaged them saying, "Are you working on a universal app? Because everybody else is now, and you might as well join that." And they went, "Nope, we tried it. Too slow. Didn't like it."
I guarantee you, if they let Microsoft engineers in there for a day, they'd have it sorted.
Mm-hmm. But to be fair, HipChat's not a big service, so.
Well, particularly because HipChat already they have an app anyway.
They have a Windows desktop, Win32 app, and they're working on a version 4 now, which has a new UI. It's actually quite nice. I tried it out a minute ago.
And they have a web version. Why don't they just use their web UI to use that porting web thingy to make an app?
Not only that, they're not even using the APIs for Windows 10. The new app doesn't use the notification center. It doesn't use the live tiles. It's come on, the APIs, just use it.
And yet we're shackled because we tried switching and we came back.
God damn it, HipChat.
We tried leaving HipChat. It didn't work out.
It didn't.
Let me see here. Other notable stuff. we were originally talking about something else, though, weren't we?
We were talking about market share.
Yeah. Well, let me go think real quick. I judge, you said Vista versus 8.1. I judge those pretty differently, scale-wise, because maybe this is unfair, but I view older stuff. It's almost like, okay, we were still figuring out how to do stuff, like movies. I'll see like a movie. If a movie sucks and it comes out like 2015, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? But if you watch a movie from like the 90s and it's bad, you're like, you didn't figure out that CGI looks terrible unless you do a lot of, work.
No, you're right, yeah.
And so you're just like, okay. And sometimes you just watch a film from like the 90s or the 80s and it's just awful. And you're just like, okay, they were still figuring out some of this stuff. But in 2015, like the Fantastic Four movie, which I haven't seen, but people just absolutely slammed it. You're like, how could you do this? How could you do this to me personally? No, how could you do this? It's 2015. How can you make a terrible movie? That doesn't make any sense.
No.
Like, show it to a guy, and he'll be like, you know what? It kind of sucks. And then they'll be like, oh, okay. Good thing we have a year to fix it.
See, the idea of Windows 8 baffles me. Why? Who at Microsoft said one app per screen is fine? That's just... Who said that?
Like, so what's our operating system called? Windows. Can we take this S off? Or are we sold on this? Are we really in on this S? We can take that off.
I mean, they were all like, yeah, you can split it. That is not Windows support. That is splitted apps. It's not the same.
Though that being said, iOS 9 isn't getting that until this month.
Apple innovators, they come last, but they innovate somehow. So let's not talk about Apple today. We are bashing Microsoft only.
Well, in any event,
I've just realised this podcast is going to be full of bashing Microsoft.
You and I and many people. To be fair, I have a Surface, so Windows 8.1 not terrible because I use it as a tablet quite a bit.
Right.
But in any event, so it kind of people didn't like it. The market share of Windows 10 is going up. I think a big factor of that is this giant insiders program now, which is just continuing to balloon into a bigger and bigger thing. They're now at 7 million Microsoft insiders.
7 million.
It's 7 million. I mean, honestly, that's a pretty big number. It was like 5 the last time I saw a major number.
It was 5 the last time I saw it as well, I think. Almost 6 or whatever. Yeah.
Is this by you? I think you wrote this.
No, I didn't write this.
No, that was a gift. Sorry. Different editor. In any event, it's like these big stories. Sometimes it's like, bam, news. There's not much to this. Look at a number. You can read. It's like 7 million. I'm sorry. I think I call them Microsoft insiders. I think the correct term would be Windows.
I call them Winsiders.
Ooh.
I do. I say it every on Winsiders. It's just easier. It's quicker.
It's kind of like Wintel. See, I like this. Yeah. In any event, I think 7 million is a pretty big deal. Not because that number specifically, but because the number's still going up instead of going down.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, why would it go down though? I mean, more and more people are looking into. I mean, now the bills are air quotes more stable. I guess you'd see the program increase. Well,
I kind of thought that some people were using it just to kind of test out Windows. I actually honestly thought a lot of people were on it just to try out stuff early.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the whole
point.
Like,
it wasn't to, like, actually help Microsoft do anything.
Yeah, but they unknowingly did with the whole telemetry scare. Dun, dun, dun. Microsoft has all your data. Yeah.
In any event. Yes, insert GIF of Sean turning around like the don't really. But I kind of thought some people would kind of die down, but actually it's gone up. And I think people are excited for, like, the messaging app. And then when Redstone rolls out, they'll want to see that and that sort of thing.
Right, yeah. There's a whole lot coming in Redstone.
It expires. Oh, wait.
It expires next year, didn't it? January something.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what? Someone put it out in the chat not too long ago. Like, Windows 10 is buggy, and someone else said, it's so stupidly buggy that look what you can do with the Action Center. Look, if you come to the actions bit, if you
action,
you can actually pinch to zoom in. Look, why would you be able to do that? Why is that a thing? It's just the world's worst. Just Microsoft. There's a huge oversight with a number of things on. Look. What's that?
Look, Sean, you're 30 seconds behind me. Please look.
Sean, just wait. Everybody else, look. It's just like, what is Microsoft? There are so many things with the RTM that you did wrong. And Windows 10 is great, but it's buggy. It's very buggy compared to...
I still have the thing where that white screen shows up. Oh, I'm just seeing now the zoom in on the actions.
Stupid.
Why would you need connections to be like this?
Why do you need to zoom in on it? That's ridiculous.
Look, sometimes touch friendly just isn't touch friendly enough.
But it's not even like all of them. It's just like the first layer's fine. It's like it's all the ones below it. It's fixed. It's fixed in Threshold 2, which is great news.
Someone said it. Yeah, someone said it's fixed too. Okay,
but that made it into the RTM. Just saying.
Yeah. Let me say one thing though, and this came up in a story about. I don't even know. I was in the comment section this week, which I admit I wasn't here much this week because I was traveling on a plane or airports for 24 hours, and then at a wedding and blah blah blah. So, admittedly, I was not here a ton this week, but I was in the comments and I was talking about Windows insiders and it was Edge, and the fact that they're going to continue to change things. I don't know if people will recognize how big of a deal that is.
Oh no, yeah, it's a huge deal.
Like I know that it's not perfect, and you just showed us a very comedic way that it's not. But if you look at it, and it's like, okay, that's bad. You let them know, and then they fix it once they can. And then they go to the next one, and the next one, and then features, people are like, we need extensions. Well, yeah, we knew that. Okay, we'll get extensions. Then it's like, we need this fixed. We need that fixed. How about over time, I hope they get to these little things. I think they should probably just have a little things division, which they probably do.
A little things division.
Well, little things.
FBL _ little things.
Well, I don't know. How hard would it really be to implement shape writing? They already own it. They already use it. They already have it.
I mean, I think the reason they don't is because tablets are big screens.
Yeah, make it resizable. Now, that could take some time, resizable keyboard. But my point is that it's going to improve because of this insider program actually doing something, which is a big deal.
No, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I mean, with the whole they're doing things that people want, I've said it before and I'll say it again, this upcoming Threshold 2 update is kind of what the RTM would have been if Windows 10 had a more traditional release cycle. I understand many people are waiting for Threshold 2 as it will represent Windows 10 better, I guess, because it would be an air quotes true RTM, because it'll have a lot of things fixed. A number of things that were slated for the RTM originally will be there finally with Threshold 2, such as its Edge extensions. So yeah, I mean, if you haven't upgraded to Windows 10 yet, I would suggest you might as well wait until Threshold. It's not long away.
I was talking to someone today. I probably shouldn't say exactly what they do for a living, but let me just put it this way: software involving weapons.
Interesting.
And I was talking to them about how I said, yeah, I wouldn't go to Windows 10 if I needed to use it for weaponry or weaponry. Like if my tablet has a white screen every once in a while, it's fine. But like a missile, I don't want a fighter jet that blinks out.
BSOD. Oh no.
Yeah, for like big things and then enterprises. Admittedly, most weapons they find the most stable server they could possibly find and stick with it. And they're a few years behind the newest thing.
Yeah, I'm guessing they're running a pretty stable OS.
Yeah, and so that's fine. But I was like, yeah, Windows 10 for weapons? No, I don't know if I do. You'd end up like with that. Have you seen that robot where like it's trying to feed itself?
Yes.
And then it just starts like slamming repeatedly.
I have seen
You might get something like that, or the Terminator, who knows. But yeah, I think Windows 10 is going to get better because the insiders and stuff like that.
Yeah. So yeah, 7 million insiders, a lot, and I guess that number will continue to increase as time goes on. So,
Zach, can I go on a tangent a sec? This will transition to the next story, I promise.
Okay.
So someone asked me when I'm in an airport, do I prefer Burger King or McDonald's?
That is a good question.
Well, when I'm at the Dublin airport, there's a Burger King upstairs, and I just have to tell, this has nothing to do with eating, but it is at the Burger King. There's a toilet that has a backrest on it.
A backrest?
A padded backrest.
What, in Burger King?
Is
it because you're Burger King? Air quotes.
I don't know. But anyway, that is by far the best bathroom that I've ever been to in an airport. So if you're in Dublin, go to the Burger King upstairs, padded back. The reason I bring that up is because I was in that very Dublin airport, though not in that bathroom, when I wrote a post during the IFA conference this week. But apparently I didn't really miss that much.
You absolutely didn't. Microsoft held their own special keynote at IFA or IFA, whatever. And nothing came out of it. There was a guy that did a Windows 10 demo, but we couldn't even see it because the IFA people hadn't, I guess, hooked up to the projector where it was being displayed. So for 10 minutes, all we could see was this guy from the Worldwide Partner Conference. I think his name's Brian. He wears a hat and he's quite loud.
Is he the one that pumps up the crowd?
Yeah, but he didn't. I guess they told him to tone it down because he didn't really pump up the crowd this time. But yeah, he was there. He did a demo, but it was an identical demo to what he did at Worldwide Partner Conference back in June or whenever.
Which was an identical demo to something they had done already.
It's just the same. I mean, Windows 10 doesn't change much once it's released. So, I mean, Threshold 2 and all that, but it's not out yet. Anyway. So yeah, they did the same demo. We couldn't see what was going on screen, so we were watching a guy for 10 minutes explain things. And then, what's his name? The British guy. I can't remember his name. The corporate vice president for OEM devices. He came out on stage, as he does every OEM sort of thing, and he displayed a number of new Windows 10 devices, most of which have already been talked about this week. The OEMs themselves has already announced these. So he was just kind of doing a recap, I guess, of all of these devices, and he was like, yes, this beautiful Asus CloudBook or Acer CloudBook, $169, Windows 10, all that good. And then he's doing all that with all the devices, like all this lovely all-in-one Asus Zen thingy. Great. And that's all the event was, and then he went off stage and that was it.
But then you only saw him, right?
Yeah, I mean, no, they were pointing at the devices at that point, but I mean...
Oh, good. I thought it'd be like, I have the Lumia 950 over here. Can't you see it? Can't you see it?
The street, no, yeah. There was no first-party hardware from Microsoft announced. No Lumias, no Surfaces, no Microsoft Bands, no HoloNet, nothing. Just...
You know what I would have done?
What?
I would have just straight up trolled and be like, we'd like to talk about 2 new phones coming from Microsoft. And then it was like, oh. And then you're like... The new, what is it, like the M20? That's like the click phone with the hard keyboard at the bottom.
They could have been like, so we know that there's been high anticipation for our upcoming products, and today I am excited to announce the first of those devices, the Lumia M5. Or what's the M5? It's not even a Windows phone. It's just an Apple.
It's got a flashlight. It has up to 28 days standby battery. Texting. And you can use web apps like Facebook and Twitter.
What would have been even better is when they were doing the Windows 10 demos, the guy could have been like, Brian could have said, now I want to show off some exclusive new features from Redstone coming next year. Just we couldn't see it. What are we seeing? We can't see it. He's like, I'm not going to say anything. Just have a look. It's going to blow your mind. And Sean, you've gone out of focus.
I'm sorry, am I back now?
No, just put your finger at it. It'll readjust. There you go. Just pointing at webcams. So yeah, not much at IFA. Pretty boring. The live stream, the video itself, was like a 320 by 480. It was tiny. It was minuscule, and full screen in the video just made everything look really blurry. So it was just a waste.
Did it look like you were watching it on a Nokia M5?
Yes, it did. It absolutely did. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
Microsoft.
Man, I really did go out of focus.
You did, yes. Completely blurred. See, the IFA event was so disastrous, Sean went out of focus.
You know what it is, Zach? No. I didn't go blurred. We went WinBeta arrow effect.
The blur behind the start menu is now in front of Sean.
You know what happened to me this week? This is a bug, but actually they could make it into a feature.
Oh, interesting.
My start menu... didn't show up right.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And so if you open it, instead of it showing up like gray in the background with the arrow effect, it showed up white with the arrow effect.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like blurred glass. Has that happened to you?
Yeah, it's happened to loads of people.
It looks great. They should just do that.
You know what? You're right. I guess when they finally work out a light theme, if they're still doing that, that would be a thing. Because, I mean, I would love to have a white blurred start menu and white taskbar. I mean, Continuum for phones does it.
Really? If you're going to have it called Arrow Glass, it would be nice to be able to have it look like a blurred piece of glass.
Yeah, I don't think they're calling it Arrow Glass in Windows 10.
Oh.
They called it that in Windows 7, but I don't think they've ever mentioned Arrow Glass.
Yep.
And that's what people asked for, but that's not really what we got back. So we've got a different kind of glass. Blurred glass.
Google Glass. No,
no,
wait.
not Google Glass. Oh, this week, so unrelated to Microsoft, Google showed off a new logo. Was it this week? It was this week.
Yeah, with the crayon. People think it looks like it was drawn with a crayon.
It was. It's pretty funny.
I will say the same thing I say about all logos. It doesn't matter as long as it's not offensive.
Yeah, well, I suppose.
It's a logo. You'll get used to it.
No, you're right. Yeah.
But it is funny to see all the tweets about it.
Speaking of the light and dark modes for Continuum, we had a good post this week written by the one and only me about Continuum for phones this week, showing it off, giving a closer look at the upcoming feature of Windows 10 Mobile, because Microsoft, they showed it off in concept and they kind of did a live demo in one of their build.
It wasn't this close of a look, Zach. Not this close.
It was close enough, and I mean screenshots. Trust me, close enough. People are like, "Are you going to do a video?" I don't actually have it, so I can't do a video. So
no, I meant Microsoft didn't do close enough a look. You did a very.
Oh yeah, well, thank you very much. They sort of demoed it on stage. I was like, "This is what you can do," but they kind of didn't demo it again. I know Joe Belfiore demoed it this week at MS Ignite in New Zealand, but there's no video of it yet. I'm working on trying to get that conference video, but for now. I had a closer look, screenshots, all that good stuff. I learned a bit about Continuum for phones, and it's actually looking pretty good. Excuse me. So with Continuum for phones, it basically makes, for those who don't know, it basically turns your phone into a PC. You plug it in, or you can wirelessly broadcast it to a Miracast device, or you can plug it into a special Continuum dock, which we'll talk about in a minute. And that will do it for you there. And you can Bluetooth mouse and keyboard to it, or if with the Continuum dock, plug in a mouse and keyboard, all that good stuff. So it works with mouse and keyboard. Shortcuts work, so Control-C, Control-V, Control-A, all that good stuff. It all works. A mouse support, so you can move around. And the best bit about it is that because it's running on a monitor, like a huge monitor, like on a 27-inch monitor, or any monitor or TV or whatever, it will scale the apps as if they were running on a desktop. And it's kind of surreal because we all know what the Office mobile apps look like on a phone, and we know what they look like on the desktop. On the desktop, they have the ribbon at the top, the page in the middle. You can click on the ribbon bits, and it gives you a drop down of all the different features you have. And on the phone, it's in like the little menu at the bottom right. You tap it, it comes up, and all that good stuff. But that same app will scale just like it does on the desktop. So it's the app you run on your beast of a PC at home, the Office mobile app, is identical to the one running on your phone, and that really comes to light when you're using Continuum for phones. The app is identical. There's no difference to it. It looks just like it looks on the Windows 10 desktop. It acts the same. Shortcuts work. The UI is identical. It's pretty spectacular, and that's the same for all of the universal apps on Windows 10 mobile. So the News app, the Mail app, all the apps, they all scale just like they do on the desktop. So you're always using familiar apps. And one of the good things about it as well is that the start menu, although it's not identical to the start menu on the desktop, it still gives you your start screen. So it's like your start screen in its size, just in the corner of the monitor. So you know where all your tiles are. You can just launch it by clicking on it. It gives you a taskbar for quick access to Task View. Task View looks identical to it does on the desktop as well. Cortana and the back button, it's all there. So it's like Windows 10. It's like Windows 10 tablet mode, but on a mobile. So like I didn't really get to try it out. So many people ask me if you could do split screen. I didn't actually try it, so I don't know. But what I do know is that all the apps do run full screen. There's no window support, so you can't like on a desktop have multiple windows like overlay each other. It's like a full screen thing. But then again, that's fine for a Windows 10 mobile device. I don't see many people taking their phones and going, right, I need to run Edge, Twitter, Word, and at the same time, just do that on an actual computer.
Well, someday. I mean, right now, this is to me, the major stepping stone between phone and Pocket PC.
Yes.
Like, I think honestly, someday we will see, because we saw a Pocket PC announced today or this week at IFA that was like this big. Like, someday they will put that inside a phone and it will work this way.
Right. I mean, with the rumored Surface phone, there are rumors of them putting in a 32-bit chip in it or whatever it is. Right. And it having like a full version of Windows of sorts to run Win32 apps on it, which would be pretty
But
impressive.
until then, this is a huge stepping stone.
This is great for what we have now. Like the Lumia 950 coming up, the Asus Jade something that will also support it as well. It's really great. So, for example, I can take this isn't a 950, it's a 435. But for example, if this was a 950, I could take this device, I could go out, I could go to a friend's house, I can hook up a wireless Bluetooth mouse and keyboard to it. I can broadcast the display via Miracast to a nearby monitor or TV. I can sit down, I can use Word in full screen, I can type on a keyboard, I can use a mouse, I can drag things, drag and drop, all that good stuff. It's all there, just like on a normal desktop, and it's all running from my phone. Yeah, well,
I put when we did, so behind the scenes look, WinBeta podcast behind the scenes. Sometimes I put jokes into the story feed. So like I organize the story feed a lot of the weeks, and I go through and it's this, and this, and Zach and I go together and we pick what stories are in and order and who says what, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I'll throw in like a joke. This one I have closer look at Continuum, aka what? My phone is now better than a Windows RT device.
Yeah, I mean, technically it's right, because, see, this is... Windows RT went wrong in the sense that Windows RT thought that they could take a computer and remove Win32. But they kind of did it wrong. They should have done it the other way, and they're kind of doing it now. So with phones that can't run Win32 anyway, they're taking that and making it more like a desktop. So instead of going backwards, instead of taking desktops and making them more like tablets, they're taking phones and making them more like computers. And
see, that could be their new ad campaign. They could be like the Surface, the tablet that can replace your laptop, and a phone that can replace your desktop.
That would... We're a long way off from saying it could definitely replace your desktop. But it's a, like you said, it's a stepping stone. It's great. I'm going to be using it all the time. Like every Friday or like tonight, I will be going out. And if I had a 950, I wouldn't have to pack a laptop. Because I do light editing over the weekend. Not video stuff, like just article. Like I have to write a recap on Sunday and all that. I mean, I could do that with Word, copy it into Edge, publish. All from my phone using Continuum for phones. So yeah, it's going to be great for those who do light editing on the go, those who are never in one place and have work to do, or like light work to do, not like video editing. You can't. I don't think you'll be doing that on your phone anytime soon.
Zach, how about this one for you? What if someday you could just take your phone using Continuum and click it into a tablet-sized monitor? Then you could have a phone Then you could have a phone that replaces your tablet and your desktop.
Yeah, that would be pretty impressive. I mean, I'm waiting for the day in which you just walk into a room and there's a mat on the desk. You put your phone on the mat, like it's a big mat. It charges your phone. It's also connected to your monitor. So when it's on there, your monitor's like, do you want to use Continuum for phones? Yes, it goes up. Great. And the best bit about it as well is that you can also use your phone at the same time as using Continuum.
Right.
On the newer devices. So on a newer device with the correct, that supports Continuum for phones properly, in theory, you should be able to broadcast to your monitor, use an app on there, but at the same time also use your start screen, and open up, I don't know, the messaging app and text whilst the phone's also broadcasting the Word app, for example. So I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. There's actually a piece of kit that you might want to get if you get a Lumia 950, which, by the way, this isn't like a full thing in itself. They're called the Lumia 950 and 950 XL, right? That was kind of like news.
I believe they are going to be there. So
for now and forever, that's what we're going with.
Whatever happened to the 940, I have no idea.
Yeah, it was reported that, the 940 is in a stock warehouse with the Windows 9 and the Surface Mini. And it's right there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So in any event, there's a monitor now. I think it's about 27-inch monitor, and it has wireless charging built into the bottom of it.
Right.
So you can just lay your phone on there. Now, I don't know if it has Miracast built in.
But if it did, that would be amazing.
If they did, you could just walk in, lay your phone, it would start charging, and then connect wirelessly.
That would be pretty impressive. See, the future's looking bright for Windows, yet nobody wants to jump on the platform, and developers keep shutting it off.
This is basically what it is. Some people have compared this to Windows RT. No, I think they basically shoved Windows RT into a phone.
Yeah.
Because you think you can't run Win32, but you can run Windows apps. And then one of the big differentiators, people say Office, but if it's on a phone, Office is going to be included.
And Office Mobile is pretty great.
Right, Office Mobile is going to be included on the phone because it's under, even though it could be projected onto an 82-inch screen, the device itself is under 6 inch, or what, I don't know what the line is, 8, 10, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's free.
Like that. Yeah.
It's free because it's small.
Yeah.
It's the reason it costs on my Surface, but not on a phone or a small tablet.
Right.
So yeah, I think Continuum is a huge stepping stone in the way of pocket PCs. And if more people supported Windows as a platform, a Continuum phone would be even better.
Oh yeah. Oh because, yeah, definitely.
Like this is when apps make a difference. If you had every app that you have on the iPad, but you could run it or on your iPhone, but could also run it on your PC, like that would be, people would say, "Oh wow." But now with Windows, they have limited apps. People are going to be like, until they get more, or Win32.
Right. Yeah. No, it's really great. And I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to get a 950 XL. I'm excited to see where Continuum for phones progresses in the future. It's looking good, guys, even though usage numbers are still quite low. But I'd give it a couple of years before we make any final judgments.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah. You know what? We should also talk about that Continuum thing.
That's true. We're still on Continuum. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a code named Munchkin. There is a Continuum dock coming, and what this dock does is, instead of broadcasting wirelessly, you can plug your phone into the dock, plug a keyboard and mouse, a wired keyboard and mouse if you don't have any wired ones anywhere, and then you can display out via DisplayPort or HDMI. I believe the box has 3 USB ports. I think that's what the report said. So yeah, so this would be great for those who don't have a Miracast display, such as me. I don't have any, I don't think. So I will probably get this dock, and then when I'm at my desk, I just have to plug it in. It charges it as well, so you'll be charging at the same time as continuuming. That's what I used in my article earlier this week. I mean, would you say continuuming? I think that would be the right word.
I have no idea.
Continuing, I don't know, but yeah. So that's the dock. It's nothing really special.
It was somewhat related to this. Miracast dongles are kind of hit and miss sometimes.
Right.
So be careful when you shop around. I'm not saying this is the best device, so don't go, "Oh, Sean said this." A good Miracast device is actually a Roku 3.
Interesting.
They have a Roku 3 has a beta feature. WinBeta, where you can do Miracast. And actually, I've streamed HD movies with very little, or I've streamed an HD film with very little problems through a Miracast, through a Roku 3. Other Miracast devices I've had there's one that I didn't work too well.
Right.
So hopefully, Microsoft makes a few of their own. I haven't got one. I have pants on. Who said I don't have pants?
Shopping tips 101.
I'm in shorts. In any event, yeah. So there's a Miracast device for you. If you know another one, let me know. Let us know.
There's many, I'm sure, but only some of them are good.
Yeah, exactly.
Such as the Xbox One. Isn't the Xbox One a Miracast device?
What was that?
Isn't the Xbox One a Miracast now?
No, but I haven't tried it.
No, neither have I. So, yeah. I mean, it wasn't Miracast until one day they enabled it. Just adding.
I love that when they say this hardware was always built in, but we never used it before. What?
It's like buying an Xbox One with 500 gigabytes, and then a year later, them going, "We've just released an update that adds an extra 500 gigabytes by enabling another hard drive we had, even though we weren't using it."
Exactly.
Just I don't understand. But anyway, Continuum for phones looking pretty amazing.
Yep. Let's see here. Yep. So that's it for Continuum for phones. This kind of I actually don't know if it was this that got me thinking this, but you, Zach, on Twitter, were talking about Windows at some point, Windows 10 Mobile or something.
Just one.
Because I remember you inspired. What was that?
Once in a blue moon, I'm talking about Windows 10.
Well, you inspired this week's poll. I don't exactly know what you said, and you weren't embedded in the story, but I'll give you credit now. You inspired this week's poll. It's on what will the future landscape of Windows 10 Mobile look like? I specified 5 years because I'm trying to be more specific in my polls because they've confused people before, which is my fault as a poller. I need to be better. But in any event, so yeah, I specified 5 years in the actual poll, and then I explained we go through. Actually, I remember what this was. You were talking about a phone that came out that supports Continuum, but you were like, people aren't gonna buy that because they aren't supported.
Right.
Like the only Windows phones that are supported are Lumia.
Well, I say that assuming they won't be supported. I just judging by every other third-party OEM who ever made a Windows Phone device ever. How many of them are supported for the Windows 10 Insider Preview right now? None.
Yeah, well, it was the HTC comes to mind.
They would be if OEMs were to give Microsoft the recovery images and support their devices. The OEMs aren't, but they don't care. So I mean, Acer is Asus or Acer, whoever it is.
Both, I think both have some Windows 10 phones, but I like I said, I was kind of...
The third-party OEMs, sure, I mean, I could give them the benefit of a doubt. They might, for a few months, keep updating and stuff. But if they're not selling, they're going to not support that. Why would they continue to support a device that's not selling?
Right. So this week's poll was basically, in the past, other OEMs have not been fully supported. What will it look like in the future? We had 4 options. I thought they were very wide in spectrum, though some wanted them even wider. Some wanted an option, Windows 10 Mobile won't exist in 5 years.
Wow.
Which I'm not going to include because I suppose that is possible, but put in a few write-in votes for that. Almost entirely Lumia devices, some other OEMs, but mostly Lumias, mostly other OEMs with Microsoft setting the bar, similar to like computers now, where like the Surface line exists, but there's Dell and Lenovo and other PC makers. And then almost entirely other OEMs. So that's actually like the tablet market is basically, there actually isn't a small tablet that's made by Microsoft right now. So that would be the model for that. I suppose technically maybe I shouldn't write off Windows 10 Mobile in 5 years, I suppose might not exist, though I personally don't agree with that. Meh.
It's fine. Well,
it's a write-in.
Let's pretend it does. In the event it does exist.
Yes. So let's go in before we get to the voters. What do you think, Zach? Out of those 4 choices, where do you think Windows 10 will be? Or if you forgot the choices, just make one up.
I don't know. Honestly, well, it's difficult. It's really just throw out the answers and then I'll I mean, throw out the results and then I'll see if I agree.
All right, so we had over 1,400 votes, and the winner by landslide at 46% is some other OEMs, but mostly Lumias. Which I think is a fair guess. I certainly think it's. I don't know. I guess I could see a few of these.
I don't think I'm that hopeful. I would go more for OEMs aren't really going to care for 5 years maybe, but for the next 2 years, OEMs, I wouldn't buy a third-party Windows Phone device.
Yeah, I don't know if here's the thing for me. It's a shame because I think you could have OEMs make it's similar to either tablets or PCs or like 2-in-1s. And I think that's the model Microsoft wants. In fact, I know that's because I had a quote in here when ZDNet's Mary Jo Foley interviewed Satya Nadella. He said, quote, "If no OEM stands up to build Windows devices, we'll build them."
Yes.
Which to me means we'd like other people to build them, but if nobody else does, we'll pick up the slack.
Right.
So that seems to be the dream, is basically the Surface model where they build things, set the bar, and they show what it could be, and then other people compete and make other devices, which, to be honest, depending on your usage factor, it's not like the Surface Pro 3 is the best Windows device. It's not.
It's a great one, but...
It's a premium device, and in its form factor, I would say probably the best. But if you want a laptop, obviously it isn't one. Like if you want a clamshell, it isn't one. So not yet. Which we're hoping that they're fixing this. But in any event, I think that's what they want. I don't think that's at all what's going to happen.
Right.
I'd lean towards you almost entirely Lumia devices, maybe 1 or 2 OEMs supporting it.
Such as Asus or Acer. I can't remember for the life of me.
I think Acer is the one that has
the Jade Primo. Whatever
Continuum phone.
Yes,
is that the Continuum phone?
Yes, the Jade Primo.
That's Acer, I believe.
So yeah, Acer is already an OEM one of the few OEMs who will try and build a Windows Phone and probably not get far because nobody's buying it. So then they stop supporting it, and then the users who bought that phone are kind of stuck on whatever software they've got because no one's getting updates. So
I also have to take like a guess. I assume making a phone with Continuum is actually a little complicated.
I mean, I imagine it requires some hard, like good under the hood specs.
Right, and that's what I mean. Is like they didn't just shove out like a Lumia 540.
No, yeah, this is a high-end device.
Like this is a premium device from a relatively I mean, they're a well-known maker. Acer and some other OEMs, they have their name out there, and make good stuff. And they chose to make a premium device that works with Continuum. So I hope that's an indicator of future success. But I think you'll probably have a couple OEMs jump on board, and unless Windows 10 Mobile gets like to that a really high percentage of the market share, I think that's where it'll stay.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway.
I find really quite hilarious and terrible. Gabe hasn't even tweeted anybody today. He didn't even tell us there wasn't a bill coming.
Yeah.
Gabe, what are you doing, Gabe?
Gabe, what do you have, like personal business or like going to like a friend's
You can't have a life. You're the leader of the Insider program.
Exactly.
You have to be here all the time. Well, I'm joking. Right, moving on.
Moving on. So I don't use Steam, and I'm not a big gamer. But you know what? There are a lot of people that do use those, and a lot of them are using Windows 10.
How many?
17% of Steam users are running Windows 10.
I thought you was going to say 17 people.
Not 17 people, but 17% of people.
Wow, that's not bad. That's quite a few.
According to statistics from Steam, it now seems that I'm worried now. Gamers, let's see, blah 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 blah. Over 17% of those who access Steam service now do so from a Windows 10 PC. And Sean, the other Sean, points out that given that the service now has over 125 million active users around the world, that's quite a significant number. And I would agree with that.
Yeah,
17% of 125 million active users is a lot of users. In fact, it's very large.
Yes, it is a big number.
I was going to do math in my head, then decided I don't care enough.
No, yes, so Windows 10 proving popular among gamers, which is great because there's all sorts of cool integration. DirectX 12.
Well, DX12, right?
Yeah, DirectX 12, Xbox, obviously the Xbox integration. And yeah, so great news on that front.
I think that's pretty good.
We're speeding up now, if you notice. We're getting close.
Yeah, Go ahead, Zach.
Also this week, Halo 5 trailer. Another more. It was a Halo 5 opening cinematic. So this is, I believe, the cinematic that they're going to play at the beginning of Halo 5 when you start the campaign. It is freaking amazing. It's like the first bit's all cut shots, obviously, like a normal scene. Them talking about they're dropping into a battle, but then when they jump out of the Pelican, it's one shot all the way down and then onto the ground, and they continue fighting. It's still one shot. It's really quite cool. And very action-packed. I'm getting a different vibe from... Because I've played all the Halos, all through the campaigns. Played them all on Legendary at one point, which was ridiculous. Played their multiplayers, got high rank. I'm a Halo fan. I play Halo.
Look, you can toot your horn. You're like, I've played Halo. Okay, yeah, I'm obsessed with Halo.
Yes, I am a big Halo fan. But I'm getting a different vibe from this one. Like, the Halo 4, I got a different vibe, but... not like it doesn't feel like Halo. This one I'm kind of getting a feeling it feels like Halo 2.0. Like it's feeling a little different, and not a bad different. It's feeling they're kind of taking it new places. Like in this one, for example, the main character isn't the Master Chief. It's more Spartan Locke. Spartan Locke is hunting Master Chief. So Master Chief, I mean, we don't know the story, but Master Chief is kind of being portrayed as the bad guy right now, which I'm sure isn't the case, but it seems like Master Chief has left the UNSC. I'm going all Halo now. He's
right.
left
Well,
the
it's
UNSC.
They're doing like a versus, like protagonist, antagonist, like counter. It's almost like two protagonists. It almost looks like.
Yeah. So Spartan Locke is I believe he's out to get Master Chief. I don't know if it's to kill him or if it's just to bring him back to UNSC because he's left. He's gone rogue. He's run away. Probably because of Cortana or something. I don't know. But Halo 5 starts with. Look at us. No, we've lost 2 viewers. Sorry. Halo 5 starts with him back at Red Team. I think it's Red Team. I can't remember the name of the team. But this was his original team before the events of Halo. Oh, something like that. Can't remember.
I'm watching it now. Keep talking.
It's pretty great. It is really great. And I'm going to stop talking about Halo now because I know not many of you are Halo fans. And I'm very excited. I'll probably do some sort of video review when it comes out. I'll try and get a review copy of it, actually, since it's a first-party title. I wonder if I can get an early review copy. I'm going to find out. I'm going to email
you. I have to admit, just to our audience, like, first of all, I understand, like, if no one watched the show, that would be really bad. But I have to say, we're probably going to make exceptions for Halo just because of how much we both like it.
Halo's great. Halo is great.
We're not gonna do your Forza breakdown of the latest DLC exclusives or like that sort of like Fast and Furious packs. If you want that, we write articles about it, and there are other sites I'm sure you can go to. But for Halo, I think Zach and I make some exceptions.
Yes, Halo is the best game ever.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I guess to move away from Halo, last story of the day.
Yeah. Real quick though, we're at 50 minutes.
Unless you want to do how many stories can you fit into a minute? Intel introduced their entire 6th gen Skylake processor family. It's optimized for Windows 10 devices. Honestly, reading all the specs would be kind of boring. But the point is that there are quite a few of them. We knew about 2 before, or the first. There were 2 chips that we knew about before, focused on PC enthusiasts and gamers. Now they have their entire family out there, and as a continued good sign of, as author points out here, the Wintel relationship, they were optimized for Windows 10. So it's great to see Skylake. They also talked about how the Core M is vastly improved. They used to be really worried about, they talked about Core M wasn't as good as what some people wanted because of the performance, but they're going to have that improved, and then they'll also have multiple levels of Core M in the future, similar to the iCore. They'll have like Core M3, Core M5, Core M7, etc. So I think that's pretty good. Intel, obviously, I've used exclusively Intel devices. They make good stuff, especially for Windows products, but their stuff's used in other devices as well, so it's great.
Right. Yeah. So yeah,
so there you go.
That's that.
That's that. Well, hey, you said go quick, so I just closed it out.
Oh yeah, that was great. Well done.
I think next week we're gonna get a bell and just like see how many stories we can clock through.
Yeah, we should have at the end of every podcast, like you know your idea before of like 30-second stories. We should do that again, but do it properly. Like, because the first time you brought that idea up to me, it was like just before the podcast, so I didn't have a story, and then we kind of didn't do it again. So
we'll figure something out, or we can do like a big fin. We'll talk about this in the after party though. Let's close, and then everybody can stick around live.
Yeah.
But for other listeners, they can tune in next week.
Yeah, so this has been the WinBeta podcast for the week of September 4th, 2015. I have been one of your co-hosts, Zach Bowden. You can find me on Twitter at ZachB_. Sean Michael also joined me. You can find him on Twitter at
Sean_Michael_UK.
And you can follow us on follow WinBeta as a whole on Twitter at winbeta.org, Facebook, facebook.com/winbeta.org. Google Plus, just search for us. The URL has just escaped me every week. YouTube, right here live on YouTube, youtube.com/WinBetaTV. And yeah, so thanks so much for listening and watching, and we shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.